Hi, it's John Paul with Retronyms, and I wanted to share a little bit more detail about the cueboard today. So the cueboard is a resampling instrument. It lets you really easily grab some synced up sound content and then play it as an instrument. So I'm going to start with a session here. I've downloaded a session from one of the many CloudSeeder users, so shout out to everyone on CloudSeeder. This one is from Jordwin, and it's called something Tabletop Testing Number 3. You can find it on SoundCloud or in CloudSeeder. But basically I picked it because it has a good groove that I think will work well with the keyboard. So here's what the track sounds like. So it's kind of a sampled thing using lots of MPC and gridlock. But anyway, what I'm going to do is grab the cueboard and drop it right on the Mr. O, and that'll route it automatically to the master output of the track. So let's take a look at it. Basically, the idea is that there's lots of ways to resample. You can resample with MPC, iMPC, you can resample with gridlock and audio copy, that kind of thing. There's lots of ways to get sounds in and resample sound. But this is a resampling instrument, so it lets you really easily capture a groove on your table. So, basically it stays in sync with the session, and that kind of makes it handy. So basically it records in sequence in like across the pads in tempo. So right now the options are pretty simple. We have a timing option which lets us set whether it's going to record 16th notes, 8th notes, quarter notes on each pad, and then the chop and cue are playback options. So right now we'll leave it on quarter notes, and I'm just going to go ahead and arm it. Right, so now the pad is blinking, this first pad here, you can see, and that just means it's armed and ready and waiting for the transport to start. So I'm just going to go ahead and start it, and it's just going to record seamlessly across the pads. Okay, so now you can see it lit up the pads as it went, sampled everything. So it got quarter note chunks out of this 4 bars here. So you can see, like, basically now in cue mode for playback, we can trigger the cue points of this 4 bars. So any point we start, anywhere we start, it continues to play the rest of the pads in sequence, in order, and at tempo. So that lets us like juggle start points within the 2-bar beat. So that's cue mode, and then chop mode, if we just switch that over, basically it's the opposite. It just plays each pad as if it was a sample, a single sample. So it doesn't continue to play the rest of the sound, the rest of the sampled bars. And in chop mode, you can play multiple sounds at once, which probably wouldn't sound too great with this set. But basically, you can play a little bit more like an instrument. So that's chop mode. And then, as an aside, you can also change the timing during playback. So we have quarter notes sampled, but we can switch it to 8th note. And now we'll be playing back 8th notes. We can switch to 16th. So that lets you kind of play with the sound a little bit as well. And the same thing applies to cue mode. It sort of speeds up the playback. So you can create some interesting effects with that. So once you have a sampled session, you can actually drop all the other devices into the trash can here. And this is a real fun way to get started with remixing someone else's track from CloudSeeder, or one of your own for that matter. So now we've removed all the devices, but we still have So I'm going to go ahead and actually remove all the triggerator loops as well, and just start with a blank loop here. So we've got 2 bars. And one thing you can do, now we can start to add effects and manipulate the sound even more. A lot of fun can be had with the glitch board, which is sort of almost designed to work with the cueboard. So now we have both of these things up on one screen, and I can play back the beat, juggle it, and glitch it. So now we can have a lot of fun playing these things together and finding kind of a new groove and hook with it. In fact, I was playing around with this earlier, kind of getting ready for this, and dropped in a drum deranger and created a beat here. So you even have some room to tweak the tempo a little bit, and it kind of keeps some of the original tempo groove and gets a little bit swingy and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with the cueboard when you start to combine it with other instruments and effects. Thanks a lot, and hope this was interesting. I'll talk to you later.